In engineering physics, as an extension to radioactivity, let us try to understand something what is called interaction of radiation with matter. Interaction of radiation with matter. Now, when we are using different radioactive substances, something what is called penetration of radiation in matter is to be understood. Under that, different types of radiation from radioactive sources interact differently with the matter. Their penetration and process of interaction are very much unique to them. Even though most massive and energetic of radioactive emissions, alpha particle is the shortest in range because of its strong interaction with the matter. The electromagnetic gamma ray is extremely penetrating, even to the several meter thickness of concrete. The electron of beta radioactivity strongly interacts with matter and has a short range. Alpha and beta are particles which are very highly energetic and charged particles, whereas neutrons are uncharged and gamma rays are electromagnetic radiations. So these four types of particles have different properties. The main difference being that they penetrate matter to different depths. So this is what can be understood from the diagram shown here. Through this schematic approach we can understand. See, alpha particle just stopped here. Now beta could reach up to pass through the tissue and reach the aluminum neuron. Whereas gamma can pass through all through. It can pass through aluminum, it can pass through concrete, it can pass through lead. So this penetration can be understood like this. So let us understand each of them. We talked about alpha particles, beta particles, gamma rays and neutrons. So the process of interaction of each of them we can understand in detail now under this concept called interaction of radiation with matter. Let us start with understanding alpha particles. The alpha particle is a fast moving packet of two protons and two neutrons ejected as a single particle from a disintegrating nucleus. Because alpha particles produce heavy ionization, we expect them to travel much shorter distances before their energy is exhausted. And that is why these have a very little penetrating power. The alpha particles emitted from a radionuclide have a distinct energy. These energies, which are in the range of 4 to 8 million electron volts, are not sufficient to enable alpha particles to penetrate even the dead outer layer of a human skin. Hence, they do not present much of hazard externally. But however, when alpha emitting radionuclides are consumed, they cause serious internal radiation hazard. For example, if you see this plot, alpha particle energy against mean range, which is in centimeters. This is range versus energy of alpha particles in air. In normal standard process, if you observe that, this shows the range of alpha particles of different energies in air. So at the end of their path, the alpha particles combine with two electrons from free electron population around them to become ordinary helium atoms. This is the range of alpha particles in air. Now let us like this look at something what is beta particles is all about. Beta particles are much more penetrating than alpha particles. Very high energy beta particles can penetrate to a depth of about a centimeter in a tissue and even can damage eye and skin if the source is strong. Therefore, beta sources present an external radiation hazard. However, they are relatively easy to deal with by shielding. If the beta emitter is taken into the body, it presents a far greater hazard, though less than the alpha emitters. Beta particles emitted by a beta emitter have a range of energies with a maximum, which is the characteristic of emitting nuclei. Now, this diagram shows the beta energy spectrum emitted by strontium. So, the maximum energy of a beta radiation from the majority of nuclei lies in the range of 0.5 to 3.5 million electron volts. But some also have energy above and below this range. Materials with high atomic number, like lead, are most effective in stopping beta particles. But however, high energy beta particles produce X-rays, what are known as Bremsstrahlung when absorbed, and this effect is more pronounced in heavy and dense absorbers. For this reason, lighter materials like lucite or plywood are preferred as absorbers. When beta particles lose their energy, they join the free electron population as ordinary electrons. Now let us look at gamma rays. Gamma ray is the excess energy of an excited atomic nucleus, which is emitted as a photon. Its energy range, although differs according to the level of excitement of the nucleus, covers range from kiloelectron volts to several million electron volts. The interaction of gamma rays with the matter is markedly different from that of a charged particle. Gamma rays and X-rays, both being electromagnetic radiation, show a characteristic exponential absorption in matter and have no definite range such as that found for electrons or alpha particles. There are three processes that are mainly responsible for the absorption of gamma rays, like photoelectric absorption, Compton scattering by electrons in the atoms, pair production, that is the creation of electron-positron pairs as a result of the interaction between gamma rays and the strong electrical fields of atomic nuclei. Now let us understand the process by which gamma rays or photons are absorbed in materials with respective energy ranges before actually going to understanding the three different processes. Let us look at the process by which gamma ray photons are absorbed in materials. Now this shows schematically energy regions of prominent modes of interaction of photons in matter. So in the photoelectric effect, the photon imparts all its energy to an electron in atom of the absorbing material, giving the electron kinetic energy equal to the original energy of the photon minus the binding energy of the electron. This type of interaction is most probable for gamma ray with energy just in excess of the binding energy of the electron. The probability of decreasing with increasing energy beyond this value. The photoelectric effect is the principal means of absorption at low gamma energies, that is between 0.5 to 0.6 million electron volts. Because the electron binding energies range from a few thousand electron volts to kiloelectron volts for light elements to about 100 kiloelectron volts for heavier elements. Now in the Compton effect, the photon imparts a portion of its energy to an electron and is deflected in the process. The relative probability of this type of interaction is quite high for gamma rays with energies ranging from 0.6 to 2.5 million electron volts. So the probability of this type of interaction with an atom is also proportional to the number of electrons or even to the atomic number Z. Now in pair production, the combination. Pair production is the creation of electron-positron pairs because of the result of interaction between gamma rays and the strong electrical fields of atomic nuclei. So in the pair production, the entire energy of the proton is absorbed in the production of a positron and electron pair. The minimum gamma ray energy necessary for this process is around 1.02 million electron volts, which is equivalent to the sum of the rest masses of the positron and electron. Any gamma ray energy in excess of 1.02 million electron volts appears as kinetic energy of the particles involved. The probability of this interaction increases for increased gamma ray energy above the threshold and also for increased atomic number of the absorbing material. Now, from this, it was experimentally found that when a beam of gamma rays of intensity I naught is incident on a slab of thickness, let us say dx, the change in intensity of the beam as it passes through the slab is found to be proportional to the thickness and as well as to the incident intensity also. That means, like this, if you consider the incident intensity as I naught, thickness of a slab as dx, then in that situation, change in intensity is found to be, when it passes through the slab, the change in intensity is found to be proportional to the both thickness as well as incident intensity. Now, therefore, from that you can find the difference. That is, log of I naught minus I is proportional to dx. This is the mu is the proportionality constant. So, the probability of absorption per unit distance traversed is what is called linear absorption coefficient. The probability of absorption per unit distance traversed is called the linear absorption coefficient. So, if all the gamma rays are of the same energy, then very interesting thing can be understood. When all the rays of gamma are having same energy, then mu is found to be independent of x. And therefore, integrating this equation, we will get I equal to I naught into e power minus mu x, where I naught is the intensity at x equal to 0. So, therefore, mu can be obtained from the semi-log plot of I versus x. So, that is what we can find from that. The half thickness of the absorber D12 is that thickness that will reduce the photon beam intensity to 1/2 of its initial value. For some purpose, it is very much convenient to define the mass absorption coefficient as mu equal to mu by rho, where rho is the density and the unit of mu m is naturally centimeter square per gram. So then we have to note that I will become I naught into e power minus mu m t, where t is the absorber thickness in grams per centimeter square. Now, with this background, we will try to understand the interaction of heavy charged particles with matter. Atomic nuclei from particle accelerators, alpha particles, and hadrons. Hadrons means subatomic particles like mesons, baryons, and protons. Put together, they are called hadrons. So, therefore, nuclei from particle accelerators, alpha particles, and these hadrons, they are all heavy charged particles with their masses being much more than leptons. But however, the mass of tau, which is another heavy lepton, is twice as heavy as proton. So charged particles interact with electrons and nuclei via Coulombian interaction. These particles move at high speed. For example, an alpha particle with 1 million electron volt kinetic energy, suppose that moves with a speed of 6.9 into 10 power 6 meters per second, almost 2% of the speed of light. Had higher energies, Einstein's theory of relativity should be applied to estimate the speed, momentum, and mass. Because of the high molecular density, the number of ion pairs per unit volume or per unit length on the path produced by an alpha particle is very high. Multiple ionization also takes place. Due to Coulomb interaction, alpha particles may excite electrons to a higher energy state rather than knocking these off the molecule. Then, Ionization and excitation break chemical bonds and generate reactive species that cause for further chemical reactions. Now, the kinetic energy of the photoelectron can be obtained using the binding energy and incident photon energy. Incident photon energy is taken as ER, binding energy is taken as BE. Therefore, the difference of these two, that is ER minus BE, ER minus BE will give you the total kinetic energy of the photoelectron. So this is what we have to understand from interaction of heavy charged particles with matter. Now this, along with stopping power and ion pair density on the path of alpha particle, help us to calculate and arrive at Compton scattering, pair production, etc. So let us look at understanding stopping power and ion pair density on the path of an alpha particle. The stopping power of a medium is the rate of energy loss per unit distance along the path. So it was Mr. Born and Mr. Bethe, they have shown that the stopping power of a medium is proportional to the mass as well as it is proportional to the square of the atomic number of the atoms in the medium. So thus, a medium consisting of heavy atoms has high stopping power. But however, the stopping power is inversely proportional to the energy of the particle. Now this diagram helps us to show the observed paths of alpha particles in the medium like nuclear emulsions, air in cloud chamber or bubble chamber, etc. These are all used to record these tracks. So a fast moving particle deposits less energy per unit length on its track. High stopping power results in generating high ion pair density. As alpha particle loses its energy, the stopping power increases. So at the end of its path, the stopping power is the highest. So thus along the path, the ion pair density is the highest at the path end. Heavy particles lose energy in a medium at a faster rate than the light particles. They generate higher ion pair densities. So therefore, when you observe, the tracks of alpha particles are different from those of the fast moving protons. So alpha particles that have energy in the range of 4 to 8 million electron volts cannot penetrate even the dead outer layer of the human skin also. Let us understand how do we calculate the stopping power and range of heavy particles. Heavy particles such as protons and alpha particles of certain energy lose all their energies at a definite distance in a medium, and that is what is called range. That is, range is the distance travelled by the particle. Now based on this we can go for calculating the stopping power. To estimate the loss of energy of a particle, let us consider a particle of charge Ze with an electron inside the medium with which the particle interacts. Let the particle be moving with a velocity v, having a distance of closest approach equal to a with respect to the electron. Consider the point is at a. Then in that situation, the momentum transferred to an electron, can be calculated like this, p square by 2m. So here p is momentum, basically you have particle of charge Ze, so you have two such particles, so p can be calculated as 2 Ze square by AV. So using p square by 2m, we can calculate the momentum transferred to an electron. So based on this, therefore, we can calculate the kinetic energy loss per electron as 2 Ze square e power 4 by mv square a square. So the total energy loss for a distance from A minimum to A maximum can be calculated by using the differential equation of this. By differentiating this, we can get the total energy loss for a distance from A minimum to A maximum. First we shall differentiate and then we integrate. How? Let us see. So therefore we get dE by dx equal to, by taking the common factor outside the integral operator, 4z square e power 4n divided by mv square into integral a minimum to a maximum of 1 by a dA. Now by adding negative sign, the rate of loss of energy decreases because energy is increasing. We can put it as minus dE by d4, dE by dx equal to 4z square e power 4n by mv square, and by solving this integral with different integrals, you will write it as log to the base e. This is natural logarithm, you can write log to the base e of 2mv square by hu. Now you can write this way or this way. This negative sign is added. This negative sign is added to imply that the rate of loss of energy decreases as energy increases. So this also implies that when you take out all the constant outside the operator, you can also take that minus d by dx of E is proportional to z square by v square. Rest are all constant. Meaning that the rate of loss of energy is independent of the mass of incident charged particle. There is no mass here. This indicates that the rate of loss of energy is independent of mass of incident charged particle. So based on that, the range of radiation in the absorber medium can be calculated like this. R is equal to integral 0 to E naught dx by dE into dE. Now putting dE by dx, this is dx by dE, putting the converse dE by dx as stopping power of the material and absorber as SE. So putting dE by dx as SE. So in the denominator, you will automatically get the stopping power. This is a stopping power of the material and absorber. So SE, if you substitute, then range R will be integral 0 to E naught of dE by SE, where SE is nothing but dE by dx, which is nothing but stopping power of the material and absorber. For alpha particles, R value is 0.318 e power 3 by 2, where R is measured in centimeters and E is in million electron volts. This is how stopping power can be calculated. When you look at interaction of gamma rays with matter, gamma rays have energies that are characteristic of the radioactive decay that produced them. So measurement of these energies provide a useful method of identifying the type of radioactivity in a sample. Gamma rays penetrate to great depths in materials, and no amount of absorber can completely stop all of the gamma radiation. So what is usually done in practice is to use sufficient thickness of an absorber to reduce the radiation level to an acceptable value. So the total attenuation coefficient for a gamma ray or an X-ray traveling through a medium has contributions from scattering, photoelectric absorption and pair production process. So for these purposes, the photonuclear and other such small effects are neglected. So therefore there are three main processes of interaction to understand attenuation coefficients, what are named as Compton scattering, photoelectric absorption and pair production. Now we shall try to understand each of them thoroughly one by the other. So if you summarize the session now, we started to understand the interaction of radiation with matter. we try to understand that different radiations from radioactive sources interact differently and their penetration and process of interaction are unique to them. And these four types of particles like alpha, beta, gamma, and neutrons are exposed to be studied, wherein we try to understand the alpha particles being fast moving packets of two protons and two neutrons ejecting as a single particle from a disintegrating nucleus. And also we have seen the range of alpha particles in air schematic. Then we looked at beta particles and understood them as much more penetrating than alpha particles. They are very high energy particles and they can penetrate to a depth of about centimeter in a tissue and even can damage eye and skin also. Then we looked at gamma radiation as the excess energy of an excited atomic nucleus which is emitted as a photon. Its energy range understood to be differing according to the level of excitement of the nucleus, covering ranges from kiloelectron volts to several million electron volts. And also we have seen the process by which gamma ray or photons are absorbed in materials and their energy regions of prominent modes of interaction of photons in matter. And then we tried to experimentally obtain the expression as the relating incident intensity with absorption coefficient, mass absorption coefficient, and define the formula as I equal to I naught into e power minus mu mt, where t is the absorber thickness, which is measured in grams per centimeter square. Then we try to understand the interaction of heavily charged particles with matter, including particle accelerators, alpha particles, and mesons, baryons, and protons. And we tried to arrive at the expression for the kinetic energy of the photoelectric electron given in terms of binding energy and incident photon energy. And then we tried to understand something what is known as stopping power and ion pair density on the path of alpha particles. We defined the stopping power of a medium as the rate of energy loss per unit distance along the path. But we also found that the stopping power is inversely proportional to the energy of the particles. Alpha particles that have energy in the range of 4 to 8 million electron volts cannot penetrate even the dead outer layer of a human skin also. Based on that, schematically we have seen the observed paths of alpha particles in the medium like nuclear emulsions, air in cloud chamber, bubble chamber, etc. that are used to record these tracks. Then we tried to mathematically calculate the stopping power and range of heavy particles and found that alpha particles range is 0.318 e power 3 by 2, where R is measured in centimeters and energy E in million electron volts. Then we looked at interaction of gamma rays with matter. So therein we found that the total attenuation coefficient for gamma ray or X-ray traveling through a medium has contributions from scattering, photoelectric absorption and pair production process. For this purpose, the photonuclear and other such small effects are neglected. So we identified three main processes along with attenuation coefficients, namely Compton scattering, photoelectric absorption and pair production, which we shall discuss in the coming session.